Hi, my name is Tiff, and I'm a bachelor's prepared registered nurse whose bangs are in her face. Let's start that over again. Hi, my name is Tiff. I am a bachelor's prepared registered nurse who switched careers in my mid-30s. I can help my fellow untraditional students get into nursing school, help current nursing students crush their classes and clinicals, and help existing healthcare professionals leave bedside for business. But today, I have a story time for you. Getting into nursing school is super competitive. We all know this because each school has a little number of seats, maybe 25 to 50, and they get hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of applicants all fighting for those few coveted seats. You would think the most important thing to distinguish yourself from everyone else would be your GPA, but actually one of my acceptances came down to one phone call. One of these schools that I plan to apply to has some missing information on their website, so I emailed them to ask a question. And to my surprise, I received a near immediate email back saying,
"Hey, can I call you to give you the answer to this?"
So the admissions rep that emailed me back, we'll call him Suprise Sam, okay? He called me back on a recorded line and immediately started asking me deep and probing questions about myself. He says,
"Why do you want to be a nurse, Tiff? What is your experience in healthcare? Can you tell me a little bit about all patient care experiences you've already had? How did you find out about our program? Do you know our stats and are you comfortable with them?"
I've had enough work experience to know that I can never make a phone call without having some notes. So I really took this as my opportunity to shine. And honestly, it was anxiety inducing. Like, let's be real. It was unexpected, but I had already drafted some essays for this school that were really fresh in my brain. So I was primed to comfortably talk about all of this with him. And I was really honest about my opinion on the school and why I was interested in that school. As you know, I teach everyone to make a list of your viable nursing schools that you want to apply to. And you want to list out and organize all of their requirements, including prerequisites. So I have a little video about this. I'll put it in the description or the eye in the sky. Now, at a later time, I confirmed this is a tactic that some schools use on purpose. They will obscure information on their website. They want us to reach out. They want to sell you their nursing program. They want to sell you this idea that they are the best nursing school in the world in a very personalized way. And a website cannot do that, essentially. And they even want to begin learning a little bit about you before you even apply so they can build a profile. And this profile will include things like what type of student you are, what type of grades you have, how serious you are, what lifestyle you have that will support or not support you succeeding in their program. This information under your profile is ultimately to judge if you're going to do well in their program and to judge if you are likely to pass the NCLEX, which is the National Registered Nurse Licensure exam every registered nurse must sit for and pass before practicing. Because these schools are judged on their statistics, like how many students pass their program and how many students pass the NCLEX, they really want to make sure they pick the cream of the crop. If the students maybe say things during these calls or in these interviews that may indicate they would not be fit for either of those goals, they could be eliminated before they even apply. Other questions that he asked.
Are you going to be working through the program? And if yes, will it be full-time or part-time? Do you know anyone in the area of your program? Will you have family living with you? What's that dynamic like? Do you have reliable transportation? And how do you plan to get to school in clinicals? Is it okay if clinicals are like up to an hour away from where you live? Will that be an issue? Will you have other responsibilities?
No. He phrased it like this.
What other responsibilities will you have during the program, and are they flexible or not really?
It was an impromptu, informal interview, and it was pretty thorough. Like, the questions that he asked me could have excluded me from the applicant pool or led to my application being flagged, either like a green flag, a yellow flag, or a red flag. After he asked all these deep probing questions, he finally answered my questions. I'm like sitting here waiting to write down my prereqs this whole time. And after this conversation, he said,
You know, I'm really impressed by you. I'm impressed by the amount of research that you did before contacting us, about the program. I can see that reflected in the questions that you're asking me.
And he said it showed that I was really committed to attending the school and doing well in the program. And he could tell from how I answered that I was already making plans to create space for focusing on school during that program. After that, he said,
I want to streamline your application.
He gave me some pointers as far as like essay writing, what to put on the application, what to highlight. He requested follow-up calls bi-weekly and monthly to make sure that I stayed on schedule with sending additional transcripts, with finishing up my prereqs that would have been required to begin that school. There was like a class or two that was a little ambiguous in their prereqs. I had taken something similar before, but I didn't know if they would accept it. So he had me like hunt down the course description, and he was just like,
Send me the course description and I'm going to go ahead and process like a substitution request, like a substitution override for you. As long as you can provide that course description and it's close enough, I'm going to get it overridden so that you don't have to take this class over again, especially if you got a good grade in it.
So he was so helpful. He was like a constant positive contact. We spoke pretty regularly, and he basically gave me an informal acceptance contingent on my last prerequisite being completed and me earning a B or above before the start date. Ultimately, I did not attend that school. I received another formal acceptance from a school that was a little bit closer to home, and when I visited, I just immediately felt at peace on their campus. And also, my mom had a second stroke around the time I got the acceptance from the second school, so it made sense to be closer to home so that I could be with her. I just want to tell you one thing that was really important, and one thing that Suprise Sam appreciated was I circled back with him right away after accepting the offer from the other school, because he invested so much time in me, checking in, like making sure my classes were going well, getting stuff overridden. I didn't want to just leave him hanging, and so I did volunteer information that was personal about my mom's health and saying, I really wanted to come to your school, but it is further away from home, and my situation and my needs have changed for me and my family. He totally understood and wished me well. I didn't have to share that with him, but I just thought about, you never know how things are going to go, and you want to give people the respect that you would desire. Following up, being respectful, like being prepared, being honest, I think that they can lay the foundation for a second chance. You never know if the school you get into is the school you're going to graduate from. You never know if you maybe even have an opportunity to attend later in life to a nursing master's program, for example. So you just want to be a little bit of sunlight in the world and be kind to people and give what you would like to receive. So that is my story time about the unexpected on-the-spot interview that led to an acceptance at one of my schools. And I'm going to ask you humbly to like this video and subscribe to this channel for nursing content that will inspire you to go to your next level, whatever that may be. And remember that I believe in you. You are incredible, and you can do anything that you put your mind to. I'll see you in the next video.